All right, here's a good question. It says graph this function. It's an x to the fifth guy. So if it's an x to the fifth and it's positive, it's going to start here. It's going to have 4 arches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and go up like that. Okay, so it has possibility of 5 x-intercepts, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know if it'll have 5, but we'll see. Okay, so first thing, pull out a common factor of an x. Perfect. So you've got x to the fourth minus 5x plus 4. Problems now, because you can't factor that. This term right here should be a 3. Yeah, because you can't factor this now. But if it's a 3, then when you factor one of the x's out, this becomes a 2. Then you're able to factor it from there. Interesting. So let's assume it was a 3. So you can factor one out, it becomes a squared. Now you can factor this. So you break the x to the fourth up to x squared and x squared. Two things that multiply to 4 add to -5 are -4 and -1. That's a good question that way. Okay, so then I want to solve the equation when y is equal to 0, because that'll give me my x-intercepts. So either x is 0, or x squared minus 4 is 0, or x squared minus 1 is 0. Here's one of them. Then this one, let's move the 4 to the other side, square root it, and remember to put a plus or minus on there. Move the 1 to the other side, square root it, put a plus and minus. Okay, so my zeros are 0, 2, minus 2, 1, and minus 1. So let's graph it. So at 0 something happens, minus 1 something happens, minus 2 something happens, and maybe I should make those a little wider so it looks a little bit better. So minus 1 something happens, minus 2, positive 1, positive 2. Okay, so I know it has to have this shape to it. So I'm going to start coming up. Okay, so I come up, go through there, come through here, go back up through there, come back through here, and go up through there. There we go. That's what it's going to look like. Now, if you wanted to test things out, I guess you could figure out up another point on the graphs, like you could figure out 3. So figure out what h of 3 is. Just by plugging in a 3 everywhere, you see an x over here. You'd have to make sure that this 2 is a 3. Or plug in, say, 1.5 and make sure it's about at that point there. Okay, hopefully that helps you with that question. It's a bad question because that exponent there should have been a 3. Because if you had factored it correctly, like this, you couldn't have gone any further with that. Maybe there's some tools that we could have used in Math 30 to try and use synthetic division to factor that, but yeah, I don't think so. I think it should have been a 3. Mistake in the question.